Welcome to another Double D podcast with my co-host,
Heavy D, aka the Boomlinger. It's good to be back, and we got a guest here. You might recognise him from the internet. He went viral on the London Underground, being a ring announcer. Give us a little demonstration of what you can do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody watching around the world to the Double D podcast.
Manton. So introduce your name though, so the viewers.
I'm host Ragip. I'm a former TFL DLR worker who went viral on internet for announcing trains in as boxers. Now I've got my Master of Ceremonies license and I've done my first MTK show. And now on December 14th, I've got another show at the famous York Hall with Warren Boxing Management, Frank Warren.
What?
Oh, wonderful.
See what happens. See what the internet is mad, isn't it? It's like, you go viral, now you've been offered a job, now you're going to be a ring announcer for the British Border Control, doing big shows.
Yeah.
I'm doing a big show on the 5th of November with Lee Eaton, MTK Go as well. Don't forget that. So we're sort of like colleagues in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
We're the same game.
100%.
We're moving into the same game at the same time.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all. Yeah, man.
No, it's a good look.
So
but what we'll do, we'll go on with the show for the second, and we'll come back to that a little later. And you can go into a little bit more for the viewers and the fans watching. So on the weekend we got a great fight with Wilder and Ortiz rematch, and we plan to discuss that today.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? I'll let Heavy start because he's chomping at the bits. He loves a bit of your bloody voice. So let's let him go.
You know what? I'm gonna say it is right, yeah.
Yeah, you say it as it is, don't you? Go on.
Ortiz, right, yeah, is looking hench, and I'm telling you, man, Ortiz is gonna do a number on Wilder. I don't know. I think it might be a moral victory by taking 12 rounds. It's not going to be comprehensive as what people think. Everyone thinks that Wilder's going to blast him out in 2 rounds and I've heard so much bullshit.
No, I don't think so.
It's not happening like that. Listen, Ortiz rocked him to the core. Listen, man, Wilder's going to be a little bit more apprehensive next time. I'm telling you, he's going to be a bit more cautious next time because he rocked him, and he said he wasn't going to hurt, but he gave Wilder his toughest fight to date. He absolutely rocked him, I'm telling you, man. Another 30 seconds, I keep saying another 30 seconds. Like,
this bloody belly and all these another 30 seconds. The only thing is, in that fight, which was totally different, is they did give Wilder a bit more time. They called the doctor in, which, for no apparent reason, to look into his eyes. Maybe that was some fantasy business of the doctors, I'm not sure. Yeah. But they looked into his eyes and gave him a further 10 seconds or 50 seconds to recover. Yeah. Remember when they stopped it? So you got that call in, and they gave him a little bit of time. So that was a little bit, an extra 10 seconds to recover. And, credit to him, he done really well. He stuck it out, he toughed it out, and he managed to get the win. The old man Ortiz, shot his load and he couldn't recover. But what I'll say, I'll echo similar what you're saying, but a bit more clarity possibly. He's looking in immensely great shape. He's introduced a strengthening conditioner. He said he's never done that before, Ortiz. You saw him on the track doing drills after drills. He's looking slimmer. He's looking muscular. He looks explosive. And I saw them doing a lot of foot drills. And I've watched a few of the PBC shows. So he is looking good. He's still looking old. Let's see if it plays a part in terms of does he go in there and perform better because he knows what to expect. He's dealt with Wilder's power. The fatigue is what really got him in that fight, as far as I was concerned, because he took quite a few shots prior to that, and he managed to go through the fight, being more fitter, more focused, and it seems like he keeps stating that all he thinks about is Wilder, he dreams about Wilder, and so on. So for me, it definitely seems like he's got that unwavering desire to kind of pull this off. It's an interesting one. Wilder has got great experience, 41-0, 40 knockouts. So he knows what it takes to beat Ortiz because he's done it already. So I hear you saying he got buzzed, but this is heavyweight boxing, man. You go in there, you get boshed on the chops. You're gonna either have a great chin and take the shot, or you're gonna get buzzed and recover. And the true champion goes through many obstacles in there in 12 rounds. And some people have got poker face where you don't see it. In that instant, he showed it, but then he recovered and got got through the round and managed to get the victory. So in this fight, I just feel like you're saying, he looks in great shape. Ortiz, he looks the best I've seen him. Like, and he's implemented a dietitian, a strength and conditioning guy. So we're looking to see an improved Ortiz, and I think it is an interesting fight. But I think, you know, once he gets boshed on the chops again, maybe he might go down. We have to see.
Do you know what? Sorry, I tried to. Basically, this is what I see. Ortiz is the bogeyman of the heavyweight division, right? Yeah, he's the man that nobody wants to fight.
He's not the bogeyman. Sorry to interject. He's not the bogeyman. At one stage they thought that, but he's not. People don't fight him because there's no need. He's not high enough.
Dangerous.
He's not. Just listen. Yeah. He's not in any ranking high enough to say I'm going to fight him to get to. There's no reason to fight him. This is a business. What you got to understand is, so he's not in the way of no belt. So what is the point of fighting him to get to a belt if you're in a position to say, well, I can wait here and he's going to fight that guy and I'll get him anyway. Yeah. Why do I need to go through another tough fight to go to a belt when I'm mandatory or close to doing that? If you've not fought him before, you know, at one stage people used to say, oh, Ortiz was a bogeyman, this, that, and the other. But, you know, look, if he went the distance with Christian Hammer, but Christian Hammer is a very tough and durable guy. I think from that, a lot of people started to have a different perspective of him prior. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they're saying after the fight, he's changed, he's got old and somewhat. I don't know, but I'm not sure that era of invincibility or that bogeyman title was still there anymore. At one stage before, it was an unknown quantity about him. A lot of people just said, well, who needs him? It's one of those ones. Who needs to fight him? He's a Cuban, Southpaw.
Joshua wanted to fight Ortiz, and now
Joshua wanted to fight Ortiz. Yeah. So why didn't he fight him?
Because Ortiz was holding out on the money.
He's not holding out.
They offered him 9 million, and Ortiz turned it down. There was a lot of speculation that they said that Ortiz was whatever they hear already signed for the Wilder fight and blah blah blah. But Joshua and Eddie Hearn, they actually went after Ortiz after Jared Miller.
Is that not after he lost?
No. That
was for June the 1st they were trying to get.
That was June the 1st.
Yeah. So he already lost.
Jared Miller, no, he hadn't lost. This is before.
When did he fight?
He fought June the 1st.
No, when did Ortiz fight Deontay Wilder?
Oh, that was way back. That was like last year.
So he lost before. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So he lost already. So that's why Joshua wanted to fight him at that stage. Yeah. Because before, prior, they didn't want to fight him. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, he got knocked out already. Yeah. And then they were looking at it like, well, okay, Wilder smoked him. Yeah. Well, he doesn't seem that invincible. Let's go for this chap. Right. And what happened was, the negotiation, Ortiz came around later and said there must have been some confusion because he accepted the money and there was someone in the middle. I can't remember who was in the negotiations. So someone that was in the money and someone was in the negotiations and maybe they were trying to price him out and he said no, the money was fine. That was after. He came back later on and said after the fight had been done, it was like, you know what, someone somewhere in the team or whoever. Because in this business, when you're at that level, there's always someone. You know, you could have a manager, you could have an advisor, but there's a middleman who behind the scenes wants to get his cut of the pie. Yeah. And sometimes he's the stumbling block between the fights.
Right. You know, he's not getting the big enough cut.
Because he wants to say, well, listen, this is what I'm looking to take out of this pie. Yeah. And this is what I'm offering you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was the situation because later on he'd done a few interviews, Ortiz saying, you know what, I was happy with the money. We agreed the money. Yeah. But I think it was a manager or an advisor, someone in the I can't recall because it's quite a while, but I tend to watch a lot of interviews and most stuff that's boxing related. So if you go back, you can check it yourself.
Or it could have been that he signed for he signed an agreement.
No. What I just told you is what it is. Go and check. That's what it is. It's not. I don't make stuff up, my friend.
No.
So what I'm saying is that's what. No, it's not what you heard. It's what Ortiz said. He's done an interview.
Oh, right.
So I'm saying you could go and check.
Okay.
So it's not. I'm not making stuff. I'm saying this and that. Yeah. You know. So I'm saying go on there. He stated they accepted the money, but something in between. I can't remember who it was. And basically the deal didn't get done, but he was happy with the money. All you got to do, the internet's there, YouTube's there, you should be on there doing your homework. Just like me and most other people who want to be in front of a camera talking about boxing should have a vast knowledge, not just talking about what's going on down at your local kebab shop or fucking your local fucking pub, you fucking tosser.
Yeah, but think about it is, listen, what, just because I don't know that snippets of information, that doesn't mean anything.
No, but you're making stuff up. It seems.
No,
I'm talking
about what happened.
You said that's what someone said. Who's that someone?
No.
Divulge the person.
Eddie Hearn said it. Eddie Hearn said it on IFL TV. Eddie Hearn says
a lot of stuff.
Eddie Hearn said.
Believe what Eddie Hearn says.
Well, Eddie Hearn's like he's one of the major players in boxing, and he said that the reason why we wanted him, we offered him 10 million. He only 10 million.
You just told me he said he offered 9. Now
9, 10, whatever.
No.
10 million.
We're dealing with facts,
10
not
million.
fiction.
9
and 10 is totally different because that's one.
No. 10 million pounds, $10 million, and £9 million.
Ooh,
yeah.
You're a bit clever. You changed it. Excellent.
Listen, alright, listen. There's people out there, right? Yeah? You got people out there, they can check the tape, right? Yeah. Eddie Hearn said on IFL TV that the reason why he didn't, Luis Ortiz didn't accept the fight was because he already signed a contract with Wilder.
And that's not what Ortiz is saying. That's what I'm trying to say. There's two sides to every story.
So maybe Ortiz said that afterwards, but I'm going to go by what Eddie Hearn said.
Oh, that's good that you only go by Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn dictionary. Wonderful. No, but what's your thought anyway on the fight? Did you watch the fight?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, with the rounds where Ortiz got knocked down, apart from them rounds, I thought he was winning the fight.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he outboxed Wilder. Wilder, to me, he's just looking for that right hand, to be honest with you. And when he gets in there, he starts swinging about like carelessly. But I thought he got outboxed by Ortiz, but unfortunately he got caught with it and he went down. But like if what you're saying now is, you know, he's a lot more fitter and, you know, he's up in his endurance levels and stuff, then I believe it will be a good fight. And I'll probably go for Ortiz, to be honest with you.
Ortiz? I see something like that happening. How do you see it?
I wouldn't rule him out. Like I said, he's an old school Cuban style boxer. He's got great fundamentals. He moves well. He boxes well. He knows how to negate that big punching hand. If you notice, he was moving away from the right power of Wilder, and he knows how to. He's smart. And what he said was, you know, in this case, I've been there. I've seen it. I came out short last time. I know what to expect now. You know what I mean? With like what you're saying with Wilder, who was up on points?
Ortiz was massively up on points.
Yeah, of course. Come on. Listen, you're never gonna listen. What did they?
He needed a knockout. Yeah, that was it.
No, what did Mama say last time? You need a knockout to get a draw against him. It's just not gonna happen, bro. Yeah. You're not gonna. It's gonna be difficult to beat. Remember, he's the cash cow for them.
Yeah, no, but the thing about it is, I think there's no way. They skanked Tyson Fury. There's no way that if that would have went 12 rounds, there's no way they could have ripped off Ortiz.
Yeah,
I don't think because he was up on the point. He was up on the.
They would have smoked him. They would have smoked that sucker. That Cuban sucker would have been a cigar. Smoked. Trust me. He would have got smoked.
I mean, like, listen, he hurt him though. That's
no.
You know,
we're talking about the
judges.
I reckon. Listen, it's very difficult to beat the guy that is the cash cow and the guy that they want to push the agenda. Just like Joshua. If anything goes if that Andy Ruiz fight goes the distance, Andy Ruiz is smoked. He's going back to Mexico for his burritos and tacos, and that he's done up. He's just not popping.
It's the first time I've ever actually heard you say that there's corruption in the sport.
No. I'm not saying hey, bro.
You always said that.
I'm not trying to get into that part of the deal. That's got nothing to do with me. But what I do know is it is a business, and what happens with a commodity, your business, you're gonna support and give it the structure it needs around it to make sure it stands firm. So if anything is close, whatever the home team is, they win the battle. That's it. So no, I'm just calling it team. I'm just making so whatever you want to put it as. It don't have to be boxing. I'm talking just any sport. Whatever it is, if it's close, the home team's going to get the victory. You understand? Just like Canelo and who did he fight? Lara, and he fought a few other guys, and those were close fights. And they smoked them boy there. And I think some of them guys they beat that sucker. So I mean, this is boxing. Canelo is big boxing, and the money, the mechanism, the will behind him, just like Joshua, is too big. You're not gonna get those guys. If it's close, they're gonna get the nod. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. And I'm not gonna say. And Wilder's the same. Obviously, listen. Remember, they went for a barren period where they had no heavyweight champion. Remember, America was the mecca of heavyweight boxing when you had Vander Holyfield, Tyson. Foreman, all them boys there, so they was the mecca. So what it is, they were stuttering for years, and then now that they've got a champ, even at the beginning he wasn't necessarily there because he fought cab drivers and dustbin people. Not to say they're not durable, because those guys are tough, man. Out there sweeping and cleaning and doing stuff. They're tougher than me because I can't do that job. But I mean, those guys are tough and they're hungry. So what I mean is, he went and fought those guys and he beat them and he gained his experience. You know what I'm saying? People were complaining about the guys, but it's experience, and you can't beat experience. People talk about who has he fought. He's fought 41 people. He's walked to that ring 41 times. He's actually got 40 knockouts in walking to that ring. Like you were just talking about, you know, experience, which being invaluable. So for me, when you're talking about people fighting people, even when people were talking about Joshua fighting him, I was saying it might have been a bit too early for Joshua because he's had half the fights Wilder's had. Even though they both got power, you still need experience. You can't bypass experience. You can't buy experience. You know what I mean? So now Wilder's gone up. He's faced Ortiz. Credit to him again. He's fought Fury, and we're talking about the real top boys. And so we've got to give him credit. He's done a good job, and he's in the end he's come around. His actual skill sets have got a lot to be desired for. But listen, once he clumps you with that right, and then he starts using the inside of this bit, and he clumps you, bro. This means business. Trust me. When you're getting clubbed at the back of your dome with that, trust me, it's skin out. Trust me. They done a little article about it. You probably didn't see it because you don't really do your homework. But they did an article online about online. You know, pure shots I'm licking after this man. They were talking about him and the inside of the glove punching and how hard the velocity of being hit by that in the top of your brain and it's scrambling your brain. So he's got a method to his madness. So when he's swinging and you see him doing the mad swinging for it, trust me, once it clubs you, it's normally night's over because night's over, night because he's got that kind of power anyway. He's one of the biggest punchers with that right hand.
So if say for example that Ortiz does cause upset,
great.
How does that make the how does that open up the landscape of boxing?
I'm gonna do a little dance for them if he does that, man. I want him to win.
There must be a rematch clause.
Do you know what?
There's got to be, isn't it?
Well, I've read it.
Marjorie, is he mandatory? No, he's not mandatory, is he? He chose that fight.
I read somewhere that he'll give Wilder a trilogy if he wins.
I think it would be good for boxing if there was an upset.
I mean, like that would open up doors for Dylan as well.
It's not even, forget Dillian at this juncture. It opens up the door for everyone. It opens up the doors for the fans because what it is, you know, some fans, they want to see certain fights. They want to see excitement. They don't want to predict the outcome beforehand. Do you get what I mean by that? Yeah. So, you know when you go into a fight, Wilder's going to win, Joshua's going to win. 55. Predictable. You see, that was predictable. Everyone thought it was a foregone conclusion during the first. The Fat Boy, Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua. The Donna's looking
disrespectful.
Listen, I'm sorry. I mean, Heavy D versus Joshua. Sorry.
More fat people in the world than thin people. Remember that.
No, but I just man, it's all good, man. It's a snicker monster. But anyway, he's a skillful mother effer as well. You know, credit to him. You know, I like Andy as well. I'm just we've all got a bit of fucking Derby. It's winter, man. We got outside to warm us up. What's wrong with you? Anyway, back to what I'm saying. You know that predictability. People want to see an upset. Yeah. People want to see the apple cart get kicked over. You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So I think it's good for the sport in general. Yeah. And then what happens is, you know, I mean, people, you know, it does kind of give everyone else a bit of a, and what it is people start to stand up and like, wow, you got a lot more talking points. And even if they do a trilogy, it's great. But I mean, that still goes down in the history books, you know, like it's fun. Yeah. You know, like when you expect someone. I remember when Tyson Fury fought, who's the guy that smoked him again? Back in the day, Tyson Fury fought, was it Riddick Bowe? Was it Riddick Bowe he lost to?
Tyson Fury, not Tyson.
No, not Tyson, Mike Tyson.
Oh, he lost to Buster Douglas.
Yeah, Buster Douglas, I always get the names confused. That was mad, because see that, when I went to bed, I was like, Buster's getting smoked. When I woke up and I heard Mike got smoked, I couldn't believe it. No. If I had dreads, I would have pulled them up. Trust me.
There's a bit of controversial to that.
Not as well. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He got smoked. So what I mean is, it's just, even with Joshua, when I woke up, I was astounded to hear he lost. I couldn't believe it because, you know, I always knew it was going to be a hard fight. And I said, I know what Ruiz is capable of. But then I thought, if Joshua can, you know, conserve himself, keep the energy, the right energy, not nervous energy, go and box, keep it basic, he'll get the victory. And once he hits him clean, he might take him out. So obviously I just had his back and I thought, you know, he'd win. But then when it was quite a shock. And it was a shock for the whole world really, because a lot of people didn't give Andy Ruiz much of a chance. So sometimes it is a nice scenario type. And I think Andy Ruiz is a really, really nice guy, down to earth, humble guy. I know maybe winning that belt maybe has changed him somewhat, but the way he talks, the way he is, I met him, and he's very polite and courteous, and it's him and his dad and his team, they were cool. But I mean, he just seems so humble. So it couldn't have happened to a nicer person anyway. And you know, like Ortiz, when you see him, I've met him before because he fought on, I think, the Manchester show. And when he fought Dave Allen. So we met him, he was at the same hotel we're staying. He's humble, we spoke, and he seemed, through his interpreter anyway, you know what I mean? But he's a humble guy. So if it did happen, like again, I just felt like it couldn't have happened to a better man. Most of these guys, you do have people who are kind of relatively humble, and they're just students of the game that want to win and prepare themselves. And I think it's good when stuff like that does happen, when upsets happen, where you've got people who are dominating in their position, and then things happen, but it wouldn't be bad. You know what, Wilder, you got to give him credit. As much as I've given him stick in the past for things, I think he's done good for where he's come from, and his reasoning for certain stuff. Obviously his daughter with the spina bifida, I think it was he was talking about, and illness isn't coming from where he is, and it's just interesting for certain things. So he's a champion in that mindset in terms of where he's come, and so is Joshua, so is my bro Dylan Whyte, and all the guys who are in this circuit. But I just feel like a lot of guys have tasted defeat. I just feel maybe it's his time to taste defeat, and sometimes you come back from adversity even better. So it's just one of those.
Well, that's the true test of character, isn't it?
Of course.
I mean, my Muhammad Ali lost. Anyone's gonna lose. And the thing about it is, I can't see it. Everyone's going on about this undefeated, this and stuff. There's no way. I'm telling you, there's no way on earth that all of the boxers we're talking about are gonna end up undefeated at the end of this. I'm telling you, this is going to be a mega around. Everyone's going to lose, and everyone's going to do whatever, and that's the way I see it. What is best for British boxing? Do you think it's good for British boxing if Ortiz beats Wilder?
Listen, when you're talking about, I think it's this quite obviously in British. When you're talking about British boxing, you're talking about everyone wants to see maybe Wilder versus Dillian, Anthony Joshua versus Wilder. But those are all great. But what you got to understand is, I think if he gets smoked by Ortiz, then what happens is it makes a big noise in boxing. It will resonate across the world in terms of
1 year, same year.
Two big upsets. And now what's going to happen is you're going to have that is actually going to put a real spanner in, actually, because
big time.
I tell you why, because Tyson Fury signed to fight Wilder in February. That fight would possibly get pulled. So it's going to have vibrations throughout. But I'm saying it will be interesting for fans to look and just say, oh wow, what do you think is going to happen next? Or did it? It's going to be a big talking point. Do you know what I mean? Instead of the same dominant talk. He's going to fight that guy. Oh, he's going to, you know that.
But I don't think Wilder can fight anyone else without Tyson Fury's permission.
They'd probably have to pay him step aside money.
Because he agreed for Wilder to fight Ortiz this time round. That was in the contract clause. So,
but do you know what? I'm pretty sure that Ortiz has been inspired by Ruiz Jr.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's looked at that. And
my money's on him, man. I'm telling you.
I've got a feeling about it. I've got a feeling about it because he was so up.
I might put some of the sheets on it. I think it's good odds anyway. If I lose, I think there'll be good odds on Ortiz smoking my man, because obviously he's the overwhelming favourite Wilder, you know.
There's no money to be made, and also I mean Ortiz was in control of that fight.
He was, apart from just them rounds where he got knocked, and then if he had. I'll say another 10 more seconds when he hurt Wilder.
That
fight would have got stuck. That fight would have got stuck.
Hey, you fucking guys in this fucking 10 more, 30 more seconds. The rules is the fucking rules. Fuck. You want to add rules onto this thing?
Yeah, but then you know what? I didn't think about the whole doctor thing. Might have been like a little ruse just to give him more time to recover.
Of course it was.
They all do it. It's stalling techniques. They all do it.
Now you put Ali in the mix.
No, but actually done it. He said he got a little razor and there was something wrong with the stitches or whatever there to get put new gloves on. You know what I mean? It's like, he buy them a little bit of time. You know.
I didn't think of that, to be honest with you.
Well, I only done it. Essentially,
I want to see what you do on December the 15th to get a little bit of your time. Because you seem to know all the tricks in the book. We're going to be watching with the binoculars, man, seeing what tricks you come up with.
Listen. It's going to be a knockout, mate. December the 15th, right? Yeah. Get your tickets. Prostate cancer. This guy is getting knocked out. It's going to be in Colchester, Essex. I'm running in parks. I'm doing things that I've never done before. I'm doing strength conditioning. I'm doing jogging. Mate, look at me, man. Look. I'm wasting away here, man.
He's jogging with a hot cross bun and a milkshake. I'm not sure if he's wasting away. Who's your money on? The bun or the milkshake? They're pretty nice to me, if truth be told. But hey, listen, good on you. How long are you running for? Minute and a half?
No. I'm not going by the time. I'm going by the distance. I don't know.
Oh, just across the zebra crossing?
No. 1.5 miles I've done yesterday. I'm just.
Come on, Sonny.
Yeah.
You're moving.
Yeah.
How long did you do a mile in? 15 minutes?
15 hours, yeah.
There's a bit about that.
Yeah.
But listen, guys, tune in, man. Heavy D with his fight on December the 14th.
15th.
Is it 15th? My bad.
Oh,
yeah. 14th.
You're coming, yeah, you're on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You coming?
Possibly.
No,
you know what? There's a few fights around I think, on that time. I don't know where I'm going to be. Let's see close to the time.
Right.
But it'll be interesting. It'll be good.
Yeah.
So let's go back to you for a sec. So you're going to be doing your announcing and ring ceremony on what show is that?
It's on, I think it's Edge of Glory by Warren Boxing Management. It's a title fight with Casey Kadimi, my boy. He's got this. He's undefeated at the minute, so that's the main event. And I'll be announcing that at York Court.
Oh, brilliant.
So if you want tickets and that, just go on Warren Boxing Management on Facebook and just message them and just...
Oh, December the 14th. Yes, that's Alfie Warren. And Mo Byron. Yes. I was actually I'm trying to get someone on there. I need to give him a call actually.
Yeah, that's the show I'm on.
Okay, I might be there anyway. I might be putting someone on that show if I can get them at 8 or a 10 rounder.
And MCK Global, I'm going to be doing, not MCK Global, it's going to be in the,
Big up MTK anyway, my guys.
Lee Ian, he's got me a ring announcing gig on the 30th of November in Grays, Essex. Come down there, it's going to be good. You're going to see me do my debut as a ring announcer. So we're both starting at the same sort of time, isn't it?
Oh, that's brilliant. Let's change it up quickly though. This weekend, there's a fight we're kind of overlooking. We've got Callum Smith versus John Ryder in Liverpool, a matchroom show. What's your thoughts on that, Phil? I'm a big fan of most of the Smith brothers anyway, but Callum Smith especially because he's a great talent. What's your thought on that fight?
Callum Smith's a monster. And to be honest with you, he's big for his weight. He could even go up. I think, you know what? I would like. I know it's not going to happen, but it's possible. I'd like to see him fight Canelo.
Oh yeah, I'd love that.
I'd love to see that because I think that'd be a good fight. Also, the guy's he's mustard, isn't he? He's mustard. Do you know what I mean? It's going to knock it. It's going to knock him out. It's going to knock John Ryder out. I know John Ryder is a bit tasty, but I can't see any going any other way but knockout.
Yeah. Your thoughts, and then
I agree with what he just said, man.
Okay, for me, going back, I think I've said this previous. John Ryder is someone that was on the way up, and I think they matchroom put him to the Sharks a few times and the Crocodiles, expecting him to lose, and he's come out trumps, and imagine he's become mandatory for a world title. That is a great story in itself, because I remember he was on a real rocky road because he was losing, and he went to America, got a good win, and he beat a few guys where he wasn't meant to beat. I think one was in Monaco, I'm sure, I watched it, and then in America. And he's done really well, and now he's come back and he's got a world title fight against all the odds. At one stage he was on the way out of boxing and nothing weren't going well for him, and now he's going to stand in front of one of the best in the 168 division, unified, and it's going to be interesting. But for me, Callum Smith is a beast. He's got all the tools. He jabs well. He goes to the body well. He catches and counters well. He just ain't got a chance in hell, sorry, to be like this. That's just my opinion. I think he will bring it because he is a tough little warrior. He's going to come forward and bring it. But Callum Smith is just going to have too much for him. Too much weapons. The arsenal selection of shots he's got is just great. And I wish him all the best. I'm going to be tuning in. I'm hoping. I'm actually meant to be there, but I don't know. I'm having second thoughts a little bit. I don't know. It's quite a long drive 3.5 hours, Liverpool. Interesting. We'll find out. But anyway.
Can I ask you a question? You know you had Billy Joe Saunders the other night.
Yeah.
He was jet lagged and
I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
I did hear though.
He pulled out a last minute knockout. He looked very much under the weather. That wasn't the Billy Joe Saunders that we all know. But if you was him, and you obviously there's talk about the Canelo fight. Maybe Canelo might fight him now, seeing on their performance. Who would you choose? Who would you choose out of?
Alright, so let me chat about this. So with Billy Joe Saunders, I think he's like my bro Dylan. Those guys kind of get up for big fights.
Yeah.
So I don't take anything from that because Billy Joe Saunders is a brilliant
fighter.
Brilliant boxer. He's got skills for days, the movement, everything.
Yeah.
And if he was to fight a Canelo, he would get up for that.
Of course.
And he would be a way better because
100%.
it's like a foregone conclusion. We keep talking about this, like people who fight those people, sometimes they don't like fighting them because they think, you know what?
Yeah.
It's bring on energy, and then you end up losing because you don't have the right energy. It's not cool, it's not professional.
That's right.
But sometimes it happens. I don't think it's intentional either.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes
That's a lot of football as well.
Yeah, so unless you're fighting the big ones, so for me, with him, if he was fighting Canelo, that'd be a great fight. If he was fighting Smith, that'd be a huge fight.
Who would you choose though, like Canelo or Smith? If you was Billy Joe Saunders?
Do you know what? It's
I'll go for Canelo.
Yeah, do you know it's a
what for the money?
No, just yeah.
Or prestige?
For both. Look at Canelo's stature.
But
could you imagine? You take him out, bro.
Matt, you know what? On paper, Canelo looks like the harder fighter, but I think it's tailor-made for Billy Joe Saunders.
Because of the movement. This is what I was coming to as well. I was going to say, listen, Billy Joe Saunders' movement is tremendous, and people like that always give Canelo trouble. Yeah. All of the people that has given him trouble, he's a southpaw. You got Trout, you got Lara. All those people gave what's his name, Canelo, hella trouble. I don't know if Trout's a southpaw, but I'm sure Lara's a southpaw. Hella trouble. So the movement, the skill set, his head movement, everything, and his shot selection, I just feel it could give him nightmares. But with the power that Canelo's got, anything, he goes to the body work, but like I said, Saunders is not just going to be there to hit like what Kovalev did and sat on the ropes. It was quite sad to see he went up all that weight and smoked that sucker like that. It was a good shot, but I mean, I don't know, man. It was a bit mad because you look at, he's been fighting a lot bigger, stronger guys throughout his career, and you've made some small man come up and smoke you like that, and there's bigger guys who he's fought and that they didn't get that kind of emphatic knockout like that. Yeah. But listen, what you got to look at, he's fast, he's very explosive, and speed kills. So maybe it was that. But for me, going back, I think any of those fights are real 50-50 fights, and it's a pick and one. Yeah. And if Billy Joe Saunders at his best is going to go over there, and I think he'll be very competent. I wouldn't be surprised if he beat him, and I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo beat him, because it's one of those fights. And I just feel that he has the skill set to beat Canelo, give him nightmares, give him the run around, and do his thing. But if Canelo catches up to him and he gets him on the ropes, I'd like to see. But Billy Joe Saunders showed a good chin in the past as well. Yeah. But for me, I think Callum Smith would give Canelo nightmares. He's too tall, he's too long, he goes to the body well, he jabs well, but then obviously it's about Canelo slipping in and going to the body and doing this thing. But there's other guys who are giving Callum Smith trouble who are smaller as well. What's that guy's name, beginning with a G, in the World Boxing Series? He was giving him, the Swedish guy was giving Callum Smith, what was his name? I can't really remember. He was giving him nightmares anyway. But he managed to pull through. So listen, there's some interesting fights. I think those fights are the fight that needs to be made, and people want to see those fights, man.
Talking of that, what would be your biggest potential matchup of 2020? If we're talking about a fantasy matchup, what do you think?
Do you know what? I haven't really got no crazy fantasy matchups. For me, I just want my bro Dylan to get his opportunity whenever that comes around. Other than that, the fights we were talking about are bloody mega great fights. I'd like to see those fights. Those would be interesting. I'd like to see Ortiz upset.
That would be nice. I'd like to see that.
Just for the record books, and it will just throw the whole game on his head.
Yeah.
And then
it'll leave it wide open.
And then there's, it's just a different position, because then what could happen if they don't do a rematch? Dillian might say, you know what, that's a fight I'd like to do.
Yeah.
To smoke him to become the champion instead. So it throws a curveball and everyone will be excited and want to see it and give a big talking point. But I mean, when you're talking about fights, I'd like to see maybe Earl Spence Jr. versus Crawford, another mega intriguing fight. There's so much different fights. Or I'd like to see Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. There's fights that are out there that or Gervonta Davis coming and fight maybe one of them boys there. There's fights to be made, but let's just see what happens, man. In the end, when your position comes, it's not always that you're going to get that opportunity, but money talks and bullshit walks, and it's really that. And because when you're in this business, when you get to the top, you got to have that right paper.
Yeah, you heard it.
So did you want to elaborate a bit more about your fight?
No,
is that
So basically, this is what it said. Lee Eaton's coming down doing my corner. You know what I mean? So I've got some good back in there. I just want to say my trainer, Jamie Arlane. I've got good people behind me. And you know what? This guy's getting smoked. This guy is getting smoked. He's been talking a lot of trash, man. A lot of trash. And I don't go into that. I don't buy into that, man. I laugh and joke, but I'm a serious guy. I'm a serious guy. You get me in the ropes. You get me in the ropes, man. Listen, I'm a laugh and joke. I'll have a few jokes this year. But when it comes to boxing, man, boxing ain't no game, man. You don't play this shit, man. And you know what I mean? Like, you're going to see a different side to me when you see me in the ring. That's it. That's it. You see me laughing and joking, you think I ain't taking this shit seriously. You're going to see a different me in that ring. Alright. And that's it.
Can I invite you down for sparring with Dillian tonight?
No, you're mad. You're crazy. You're mad. No way, man. I won't even hold the pads, man. I don't want that power, man.
That'd be funny.
I'll have a few rounds of it. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Interesting. But good luck on your fight.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
All the best, and we'll see. And this is probably a conclusion to another Double D podcast. Thanks to our guest Huss here, man.
Thank you for having me.
The ceremony man is going to be doing these things near you shortly, December the 14th, December the 15th. We've got this man out.
Colchester. Get your tickets. The tickets are on sale online now.
And I might see you in Liverpool. Check out the Black Box management system, the apparel, the clothing. Big up my guys with the mash. These man, and big up everyone, man. Do your thing. Watch, subscribe, check it out. Leave a comment. Double D podcast.
Booyah.